is Jenny Havermann, and I am a child of God. I was baptized in my mother's church, which would become my home for around 30 years of my life, on December 24, 1979. I grew up ELCA Lutheran, and for those of you who don't know what that means, it means I'm a Reformed Catholic, or as I joke, Catholic 2.0. I released my parents of their baptismal promise on Reformation Sunday in 1993. This means that I was confirmed into the Lutheran Church and committed to taking responsibility for my own spiritual life. God must have known that I would stumble along the way, because when I think back on my spiritual life, I have memories going back to kindergarten Sunday school with singing loudly and off-key songs of praise. But mixed in those memories are key individuals who crossed my path at moments when I started to stumble or have stumbled. They were there to answer questions, to pick me up with words of encouragement, to be a shoulder I could cry on. My first memory of feeling God's presence occurred on Thanksgiving 1997. On that day, I had a huge fight with my mom, but before the fight, I knew it was going to happen and reached out to our associate pastor to see if he would meet me at church. The fight was so bad, I remember running out to my little truck and thinking, I can't do this anymore. I was going to drive my truck off a bridge into an oncoming train. At that moment, I was ready to turn the wheel. A voice told me to look down at the dashboard. My dad had placed a picture of the family, and I saw it through my tears and made it safely to church. Fast forward to spring of 2003. I was struggling to find my place in graduate school. I was in my favorite coffee shop, and a stranger sat down at my table. We talked about simple things, and somehow I got invited to a Buddhist meditation group. I went, and through this meditation, I finally learned how to pray and listen. I found my way back to my home and my family, my church home that is. 2 years later, I made the decision to join the Peace Corps after dropping out of grad school with my master's instead of my doctorate. My last Sunday there, I was called in front of my family and church and had hands laid upon me. Tears filled my eyes and my heart was filled with love. I was doubting my decision, and at that moment, I knew that I was heading to a place I needed to go. Fast forward to Thanksgiving of 2018. A woman invited me to Thanksgiving meal. My husband and I attended. I remember crying and feeling moved. Life had been really rough the past few months. My son Charlie had started attending Kids Zone over the summer. I had been pregnant with twins and lost one. My husband was struggling with his own battles, and I couldn't help him. I felt so lonely and afraid, but I couldn't express my fears. I sat in this church and was overwhelmed with emotions. I cried uncontrollably. I'm sure people saw and just wondered, but no one judged. I was given hugs and welcomed. The next day I would be hospitalized on bed rest, and that Friday my daughter would be born 9 weeks early, but healthy. Since then, OWC has become our family. My kids look forward to every Sunday with Jacob and Bouncy House Wednesdays with Gilbert and Miss Rocio. I've been a part of friends groups and hope to one day make the trip to Honduras. Through Christ, I know I've become that voice of love, compassion, and hope to my students through my work as an ELL teacher. I know that I'm not finished stumbling, but my faith tells me that God will always be there with me to help me and to keep me going.